Good morning. Okay, I am going to start out the day with a very seasonal pumpkin cinnamon smoothie. Now, I've actually never made this before. I've never added pumpkin to a smoothie, but I have a feeling it's going to taste delicious. And I'm going to add a tiny bit of stevia as well, just to make it extra sweet. And I'm making this for 2 people. Alex is gonna have some as well. And I usually like to fill up a 16-ounce glass for myself at least. Sometimes I'll make a little bit extra. And so this is approximately 2 frozen bananas. And I'm just gonna blend it all up together. Since I know it's helpful when I tell you the exact amount of each ingredient that I'm using, I will let you know. This is about 10 ounces of water. I'm going to just put a tiny, tiny pinch of this super extra strength stevia. And I've got half a cup of soy milk, a third of a cup of this 100% pure pumpkin. And I'm gonna do half a teaspoon of cinnamon and all of this frozen banana, which again is about two full frozen bananas. Oh my goodness, this tastes like a dessert. This is so good. All right, are you ready for the world's easiest lunch? I am going to bake these 2 little sweet potatoes in the oven on 450 degrees for probably 20 minutes it'll take because they're quite small. And I am going to warm up half a cup of frozen peas, half a cup of frozen corn on the stovetop. Probably gonna take less than 5 minutes, just with a splash of water and on probably medium heat. And then I've got some leftover lentils. I know they're not looking too pretty, but they're still good. I am going to have probably half a cup of these as well, just warm them up. And for seasoning and flavor, I'm going to splash some lime juice on top, some garlic powder, and some sea salt. Super, super easy. Might even add a little drizzle of ketchup to the sweet potatoes. And honestly, I just like to show you guys these types of meals because if you're not someone who wants to follow recipes, or if you don't have a ton of time, this is so easy to make. You can actually make it even quicker if you prep these in advance. So on Sunday night, if you've got quite a few potatoes or sweet potatoes kicking around, you can bake like 8 of them at once and just put them into Tupperware containers like these with airtight lids. And if I had these already ready, all I'd have to do is microwave this dish and have lunch in like 3.5 minutes. All right, let's get to it. Again, I normally do not measure things out like this. I'm just doing it for the sake of the video to show you how much I'm eating. And I do recommend erring on the side of making extra, just in case you end up being hungry an hour or 2 later, you've got some extra food made for you. That's why I'm doing 2 of these sweet potatoes, because I'm not sure if I will finish this all at once, but we'll see. All right, so these sweet potatoes actually took 30 minutes to bake, and I warmed up this half a cup of lentils for 45 seconds in the microwave. And I'm gonna put all of the measurements of this and everything that I'm eating in the description box, just if you want to copy and paste that so you can try out the same meals that I eat, you can feel free to do that. And I'm just going to get a knife so that I can cut these sweet potatoes down the middle. And something I want to say is that if you have been struggling to stick to a healthy eating plan because of just the time it takes to make things, then I really recommend just trying simple eating like this, just really simple meals. And if you think that the food is going to be too boring and not that exciting, I will say that one of the biggest things that helps with this is just kind of giving yourself a few days, honestly it might even take a few weeks for your palate to readjust. Because if you are used to eating meals that are, you know, deep fried or packaged, processed, have a lot of added sugars, oils, and salt to them, then you go and eat something like this, of course it is going to taste much more plain in comparison. So if you're eating exclusively plant-based meals like this that are free of added chemicals and flavor enhancers, then it's going to take a few days, and as I said, maybe even a few weeks for your palate to readjust, for you to get used to eating this way. So just have patience and know that it will happen. And also, you know, adding things like this, like for me, I really like lime juice. So just finding the flavors that you enjoy so that you can make the food as yummy as possible without adding junk to it, basically. So I've got some garlic powder here. And if you can eat it without salt, then by all means do that. But if adding a tiny bit of salt helps you to enjoy eating vegetables more, and that's what it takes to get you to kind of transition to this way of eating, then by all means. I'm gonna add a bit of ketchup, just a drizzle, and this one has no added high fructose corn syrup, which is something to look out for when you're buying ketchup. And just doing a drizzle like that, and voila. Super easy meal and also super inexpensive. Eating this way can save you a lot of money, which is kind of an added perk if you ask me. Okay, for dinner, I have just opened up my pantry, fridge, and freezer and kind of put together a few ingredients that I think is going to make a nice meal. I've already got some rice made, but I thought I would just show you the jasmine rice that I've been using. I really like jasmine rice. I think it's up there with one of my favorite types of rice. And I'm going to have some of that with some frozen lima beans. I'm just gonna warm them up with a splash of water in a pan on the stovetop. And I'm going to have probably half of this container of chickpeas warmed up and some tofu baked in the oven. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this package open and cut up half of it into probably 1 centimeter sized cubes and bake them on a baking tray in the oven for 20 minutes on 400 Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic powder on top of it, and that's literally it. Then I'm gonna season it with soy sauce, chili powder, and garlic powder again, and that's it. Okay, so I'm just putting little chunks of tofu out here on the baking tray. Super easy. And oh, I thought I should say, so the lunch that I had with the 2 sweet potatoes, I actually ended up eating all of that for lunch. So it's, you know, I always say make extra because you never know. You might have more of an appetite than you think. And one of my tips for success is to making sure that you're full. Because if you're not fully full, then that is when you might find yourself craving junk foods. All right, so we've got 1 heaping cup of cooked rice, and this is how the tofu turned out. That is the garlic powder that's kind of gone crispy. And I'm just gonna have to pick these off with my hand. All right, so I'm just gonna add some soy sauce to everything here. More garlic powder, because why not? And some chili powder to add some spice, and that is it. Honestly, I also might add a little splash of lime juice. I love lime juice, if you hadn't noticed. I just put lime and soy together and it just tastes so, so yummy, but I'll try this as is first. And that's it, super simple but filling. And this is a very high protein plant-based meal because you've got protein in the tofu, in the lima beans, and in the chickpeas. All right, for a snack in about an hour, I'm going to have a bowl of mango chunks, but they are currently frozen. So I'm just going to pour some out in a bowl now and let them thaw out a little bit. You could just buy fresh mango and wait for it to ripen, but honestly, this is just super convenient and less cleanup, less sticky mess. And this also tastes really good with lime juice. I know I've probably said lime juice like 30 times in this video, but I don't know what it is about lime juice. It just makes everything a little bit better. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you're not yet following me on Instagram, you can find me at MelissaAlexandria01. And be sure to click subscribe to be a part of my YouTube family. See you next time. Bye-bye.